your big Hollywood sunglasses and light the torch, because it's cellar time. Welcome to the Crack Cellar, as the prophecy was once saved by the ghost of Kiev. I'm Two-Spirit Penguin Daniel.
And I'm not one of those pussy soldiers on Snake Island.
You forget to say your name.
Oh yeah, Broadcaster Nickels.
Cut that. Broadcaster, you know, there's a lot of changing going on in the world, you know. What do you think about Operation Moonfall?
Is this part of Crater Earth?
I take it you haven't seen Moonfall yet?
No.
So
Moonfall.
So you need to see it. And the reason I'm going to say that is we've been talking about David Icke lately, you know? There's
been just 2 minutes ago. We brought up his name briefly.
And just my boy Ronald Emmerich has done a lot of disaster movies in his time, and most of them could be described as, you know, on the normie side of the force, you know, like digestible by the general population.
Did he do The Day Before Tomorrow?
He did. He did
That was
a lot
a dope movie, dude. Dope movie.
Fuck, man. Original Independence Day, still one of my favorite movies of all time. But I'll tell you right now, Moonfall. I'm not going to tell. I don't want to give any specifics.
I already can tell it sucks.
I love the movie, but I want to put it like this. The storyline of Moonfall. I mean, okay, so you know by the title, it's about the moon falling.
Sounds like you're running defense for this, not offense. I'm not gonna lie.
So it's not a spoiler to say the movie is about the moon falling onto the Earth. It's called Moonfall, right? So like that's not a spoiler, I hope. I just want to say that the plot behind the when and the why and the how that the moon is falling is something straight out of an Alex Jones / David Icke fever dream. And it is something that I could not believe I was watching on in a movie theater on like a mainstream production company. It was quite astonishing to see.
Good. That's the type of stuff we need to see more.
Yeah,
original ideas.
It's a total trip, but yeah, definitely check that one out.
What's it on?
It's on the theaters.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yep.
Dude, times are going back to normal, dude.
Yep, it's the first movie I saw in the theaters since was it Rise of Skywalker? Yeah, since Rise of Skywalker.
God. Rest in pepperonis. Oh my god.
So what do you think about the video game industry jumping on the bandwagon of kicking Russia out? I thought that was really petty. It's like, do you think Putin's playing Call of Duty right now, you assholes? It's a bunch of 13-year-old kids you're punishing.
Oh yeah, but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
To get the public to turn against them. But yeah, I mean it's a solid move. If I was the chess player playing against him, dude, it's something I'd do. No doubt. No doubt about it. If I had my tendrils, you know, in the gaming and all the industries, dude, I'd push all my power. I'd press against him hard. Yeah,
and then fucking homeboy Elon Musk. Did you see his response to that shit?
No. What?
Oh man, he's just like, sorry guys, but I will not be kicking Russia off of my platform unless you come into my home and put a gun to my head. Sorry, I'm a free speech absolutist. Probably one of the greatest tweets of all time.
I think Elon's one of the only real people left on this planet.
The dude is quickly becoming a legend.
He's like a boomer that understands memes.
Yeah.
This makes him the next avatar of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's also been like feeding like some like Metal Gear Solid style like intel to Ukraine about how to use the Starlink satellite system. Like he's like giving them like all these like espionage tips, like, you know, put it far away from your home, put it far away from people, use this type of camouflage, do it at this time of the day, and all this shit. And I'm just like thinking, Snake, are you there, Snake? Can you hear me? Snake!
Man, it's kind of crazy. Like, no one gives a fuck about all the things we love to do right now because people are dying in Ukraine.
You're
It's
right.
just fucked up, man. I want Halo Infinite to work. Okay, dude? Is that too much to fucking ask?
It's the year 2022. I thought we were beyond putting humans above video games. Thought that was a relic of the past.
Fucking delaying co-op campaign again.
Telling you, man. It's vaporware. Been telling you from the beginning. They're going to keep delaying it. And then one day they're going to be like, well, after careful consideration, we've decided to cancel this. But don't worry, we're going to give you a free battle pass that has some rare weapon skins.
Yeah.
Please look forward to it.
They did an update yesterday or today. It was a season 2 update. So in 2 months, we're going to get 2 maps and a couple more game modes.
Isn't one of the modes an old one, though? it's
2 of them are old ones, I think.
There's one new one, though, right? The last Spartan standing.
Yeah.
That's new, right?
Yeah.
That kind of sounds Battle Royale-y to me, so I'm hoping that that's on a big map with a lot of players.
Who fucking knows? I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
When they said 2 maps, it's just fine.
Why isn't every map? Like, why don't you just take every map from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ODST, fuck Halo Wars. Let's bring some Halo Wars shit into what? It's just textures. Like, it's not hard to translate these maps.
I think the more and more as time goes on, this whole like we've been working on 6 years thing, which sounds like something we've heard time and time again. It's the same bullshit, man. Mm-hmm. I think they were working on I think they actually were working on a Battle Royale. I think that's what they were working on for 6 years. Something totally different on a different engine or whatever it was. Some super altered version of the engine they got from Halo 5 or whatever they built. And it didn't work. It sucked. Brought Joe Staten in. He's like, this is not workable. And then they just took Halo 5 and they molded it into Halo Infinite. And they said, this is what we've been working on 6 years. They tried to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the good thing with Halo Infinite is that like time can really do it a lot of favors because it's not like the game itself is broken, it's the content that's broken. And content can be added to a well-built game, and you know, I think the game's well built. Like, I never have problems. I know some people do. Like, there's one guy we play with that like crashes all the time, and I'm just like, I'm not sure if it's his machine or what. But I've been playing Halo Infinite now for like 6 months or however long it's been since it came out. I have only crashed one time in that entire time. Like, the game runs really well, even on my old shitty 1070. Like, it runs really decently. So, to me, I think the bones are good with Halo Infinite. We just need to build some muscle.
Not like a fucking communist.
Well,
bones are good. We just need to feed the workers a little bit more.
Speaking of communism, broadcaster, there is a legendary movie that has fallen down from heaven to guide us to After Yang. Are you ready to get to our preview of After Yang?
After Yang sounds like what China will refer to of everything after they took over the world. They're like AY after Yang and everything, and then there's before Yang, which is like, you know, the savagery of America.
I like it. To me, though, what it sounds like is like you've seen Old Boy, right?
Yeah, I've seen both.
To me, After Yang sounds like it's the spin-off of Old Boy that follows the daughter before he comes and, you know, things happen.
Interesting.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
Come on, Yang.
Come on, boy.
What are you doing? Come on.
Don't you listen, boy.
No, dude. His CCP software is updating.
Has this happened before? No.
Oh God, it's a Sundance movie. I'm out.
Is that Clifton Collins Jr. right there? Is that my boy Clifton Collins?
A sibling for Miko?
It is an interior core problem.
An interior core problem.
Mission to break open the core.
Oh, that was the cook from The Sopranos.
Some bots are equipped.
Oh, dude, are you? Wait a minute, it was?
Yeah, the bald guy. That was him.
House anymore.
Forget his name, but yeah, the chef.
I wish I had a real memory. What do you mean?
What the hell is this movie?
Did Yang want to be human?
That's such a human thing to ask, isn't it?
This reminds me of like a car commercial where you're not quite sure what's going on. You're like, oh, it's a car commercial. Here we go. I could definitely see Alexis coming by at the end of this commercial already.
Tide.
Do you want him back?
Of course I do.
I want him back too. I just need a little more time.
What the fuck?
From Wakanda Films? Is that what I just saw?
Dude,
What are you watching?
Cago nada. Huh. Cago nada. Colin Farrell's going mad. He's like, all this diversity is making me go mad.
Okay.
I'm white, but I don't have one white kid.
So a lot of questions for that trailer. Where to begin? First of all, why is Lily White Penguin, the new Penguin, you know, Colin Farrell, Lily White, Colin Farrell with a brave Wakandan warrior woman? How did those two produce an Asian daughter?
Well, clearly this is a WEF film, dude. This is a World Economic Forum film where they don't, you know, you don't have children anymore. They give you children. They issue you. The state.
Oh, this
issues
is
you
like
children, dude.
this is like The Giver. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I didn't even do that. That's a good connection there.
Yeah. Okay. So they're assigned kids, and then they get a robot assigned that shares the same ethnicity as the assigned kid. Is that what we're going with?
I think they're all Z is it Z she I think they're all G-Ping clones, dude. State surveillance perfected, dude.
Well,
They're all young G clones.
at the beginning of that trailer where it shows like the robot's OS rebooting, that did have, you know, the same color scheme as Winnie the Pooh. So I see connections. I see connections.
You're gonna get fucking disappeared for that statement.
They're gonna throw me in the gulag with all the Taiwanese.
Dang, dude, that's so topical.
So this movie
How
didn't
long
look
do you
very
think
exciting.
Taiwan's gonna be around for? It's a great question.
You know, the prospects of Taiwan being stomped by Winnie the Pooh do seem a little bit more interesting than this trailer was. Might make for a better episode.
Taiwanese people aren't laughing at that joke, dude.
No, man.
It's very
They definitely
insensitive.
aren't. It's weird
But
though.
go
That,
on.
it's weird though that Taiwan named itself the Republic of China. It's like, what? Like, if you want to separate from China, why do you have China in your official name? It's a little weird. But I'm guessing it's some like sort of like ancient like blood feud. Like the Taiwanese think they're the real Chinese, but they don't like the current China, so they're like, "Fuck you, we're not Chinese, but we are China, but we're not in China." Like, I don't know.
That's what's up. That's what's up, dude. Those are patriots.
Anyway, I'm gonna
Sometimes
say
you have to carry the flag, you know.
back to After Yang. I'm gonna say it's a real bad sign when a third of your trailer is like quotes from paid reviewers that just got jerked off at Sundance Festival. Like,
By Colin Farrell.
it's a
Fun
little-
fact: Colin Farrell almost got Boogie Nights instead of Marky Mark.
Wow, what a timeline shift that would have been.
Oh, what was his star name? Dirk Diggler. Colin Farrell could have been Dirk Diggler.
Do you think Mark Wahlberg, like after that movie came out, like every girl he met, he just like look at him and be like, "It's real. It wasn't a prosthetic. It's real."
It's you're a star.
And he's just praying that they say, "Prove it." He's just praying. He's like, "Sure, I'll prove it in the bathroom, but I'm gonna turn the lights out." And you'll feel it though, trust me.
You'll feel it.
So this trailer kind of reminds me of like an artsy fartsy version of the AI movie that Steven Spielberg made back like, was that like 2002? It was a long time ago.
No, it wasn't that long. You're talking
It
about,
was. 2000s.
AI. You
AI.
are talking about AI. Yeah,
Steven,
that had
it
Jude
had-
Law in it, right?
It had the kid from fucking Sixth Sense.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Jude Law, right? He was the robot that
Yeah, I think so.
that followed him around for a while.
It kind of
Like
gave me that
Echo.
vibe, but like much like lesser and much more woke way. I'm struggling to find anything positive to say about that trailer. I guess that the guy from Sopranos being in it was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. That was a good catch there.
Is his side, but like he has that same unmistakable stash, that like weird little Goomba stash.
Goomba.
You can see that shit from orbit, man. It's hard to miss.
Such a good word. Goomba.
And we're allowed to be racist against Italians because they're white, so we're free. We
For
are
sure.
not getting canceled.
And we're hella Irish, so we can say they get made fun of all the time for these fucking fucks. So.
You know, I like Colin Farrell.
These wops.
I like Colin Farrell, but I'm not sure that even he can save this movie from just being. I feel like this could be like one of the most boring movies of all time based on the trailer. Like, it really looks like nothing happens in it.
All right, I'm just gonna say it. It
Oh.
looks like it just looks like shit. All right,
Yeah.
this looks like woke garbage. Who knows? Maybe it will be good. The movie was, like I said when we were watching it, it reminded me of a car commercial. Like you just didn't know what the fuck was going on. So maybe when the movie comes out and you do know what's going on, if it's capable of telling you something coherently, it might be good. But
Yeah.
visually, it looks like woke garbage. You got a shaved black woman for a mother. You got Colin Farrell, a white dude, and two Asian kids. Question mark? Also, if you look at the symbology in the poster, like the mother's looking directly at the husband's looking directly down, disappointed, like he's done something wrong, you know. The fucking autistic Asian boy who's a robot's just looking off in the distance, going 011100001. And the daughter is just like, "How did I get here?" So I don't know. I see that shit, and I'm just like, well, it wasn't necessary, and I'm already put off by it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just make it a black family. Just make it an Asian family.
right. Like,
It doesn't like who cares? Like you.
well, it's like, so yeah, like it's either like what we talked about, where it's like The Giver, and it's like the far future where people are just assigned children that aren't theirs.
Yeah.
Or
And they should convey that in the trailer, because then it would make sense,
It
right?
would,
Then
yeah.
the whole family would make sense.
maybe they adopted, but I don't know, man. I don't understand why everything has to be like this now. Like, there's just always this weird, like, cognitive dissonance thing with all current content being made, where you're expected to just believe shit that isn't possible to be real. Like, we live in fairy tale land now, where like a black and a white person can make a green kid or something. It's just like, we're supposed to just buy that shit at face value. I don't know.
Or it's not just that though. It's like we're supposed to be told that, you know, we're expected to be like, black people like this white people stuff, or white people like this black people stuff, or Asian people like this black people stuff. It's like, no, they don't. And it's weird when they show up and they clearly would never want to be here other than the paycheck. You're just like, well, it's my time to shine, because they want to hire black people for this for some reason, or Asian people for this for some reason. It's just,
Yeah.
well, I'll talk about it in the review coming up, because there's just like some moments where it's just like, holy shit. Like, why? Why?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a good relate there. A little similar, you know. And I think Woody Harrelson would be very happy for us to compare him to Colin Farrell at this point of his career. So,
No, yeah. Well, Woody's seen, you know, seen better days, but
you know, he's aged like a man that drinks a lot of whiskey. I respect that.
dude, let's take a moment of silence for the fact that he got to play with Alexandria Daddario's titties. All right?
Yeah, well.
Salute.
Salute. So what do you think this movie's about? I mean, what we see in the trailer is that the robot breaks, and then like Colin Farrell is guilted about fixing the robot, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna fix the robot, and then like he goes on some adventure to fix the robot and runs into problems, and that's it. What do you think's actually gonna happen? Like, it's like, oh, the computer wants to be a real boy. You really think that's all this movie is? Because if it is, I swear I'm gonna vomit.
Of course it is, dude.
God damn it, dude.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's story vomit. It's a copy of a dude. Trent Reznor, copy of a copy of a copy of a copy,
man. Dude. How many times are we gonna get that storyline, dude?
The unique factor, the uniqueness to this particular movie is that the writer / director thinks that their idea is original enough for people to not think it's that classic storyline. You know?
Yeah.
It's just garbage. Who knows? It could be great. I'm just being pessimistic.
Yeah. Well,
cinematography looks good. I'll tell you that. The lighting and everything looks amazing. I always like seeing movies that appreciate like angles and, you know, actually like the actual scene telling a story more than the dialogue, you know, and I can see that After Yang might be a movie like that.
Yeah, I mean, the production values are good for an indie movie, but it looks very sterile. It reminds me, there was this sci-fi show that came out on Hulu a couple years ago called Devs, and it had the exact same sort of production quality. It was very clean, glossy, and sterile. It reminded me a lot of that.
Dystopian.
But I guarantee you Devs is way better than whatever this is going to end up being. And I don't even think Devs was that great. I think it was like an okay show, but like I really am not psyched to see the 17th ripoff of Isaac Asimov's book or whatever the fuck his name is. That guy wrote a book about a robot wanting to be a real boy, and like 1 billion people just copied it. It's just like, fuck, dude. How about we come up with an idea of our own, people?
Because that's hard. That's what they call work.
Mm.
And there's not a lot of people that want to do work nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just the byproduct technology, though. We want.
Yeah. Well, as the great J.R.R. Tolkien once wrote, evil cannot create; it can only corrupt.
All right, dude, you read that Facebook comment section, dude?
It wasn't Facebook; it was YouTube, bruh.
All right, boomer.
Bruh, get the. How dare you? I'm only boomer adjacent. Okay.
Boomer adjacent.
I
bet you like the original Star Wars trilogy.
God damn it, you're right. I'm a boomer. Okay. All right, broadcaster. As you know here on the Crack Cellar, we love to come up with crackpot theories on our previews and to come up with the most wacky possible direction a movie or TV show or game or anime or what the fuck ever can go, broadcaster. So I want to hear your crackpot prediction for After Yang.
Listen, kids. In every man's life, you get to a point where you get in trouble with some bad men. You owe them a lot of money. And if you don't, then if you don't pay them back, that is, they kill your family, your kids, your wife. And then you have to, you have to adopt. You don't always get what you want when you adopt. So you get Colin Farrell. Integrating.
Every rose has its thorn.
You got Colin Farrell integrating into a very diverse family that had just recently lost their father, a strong black man who was working at Apple, but he I don't know. I don't go. I was going to say he jumped off the factory nets, but that's Foxconn, not Apple. Started losing it.
It's the
but he ate it.
It's the bad ending with the Foxconn suicide. Got it.
Yep. Black Monday at Foxconn.
Well, children, my tale is a little darker. I believe Colin Farrell will get in his car because he woke up and got himself a gun. He's going to drive down the street looking at the scenic views of New Jersey. He's going to arrive in an Italian bodega and he's going to find the chef from Sopranos. He's going to say, "Hey, fix my robot." He's going to be like, "Hey, why you say that to me?" And Colin Farrell's going to pull out a pistol and be like, "Bitch, did I stutter?" He's going to fix the robot. He's going to take the robot back home. The robot's going to be like, "But I'm the dad." And then he's going to murder Colin Farrell. And he's going to say, "This was justice because you're white privilege." He's then going to walk down the hall of the house. He's going to walk into the bedroom and just start plowing the strong Wakandan wife. But it's going to be dark, so she's not going to know it's him. She's going to think it's Colin Farrell. But she's going to be like, "Man, Colin Farrell is hitting the G-spot a little better than usual." You know, she's gonna she's gonna climax a few times and be like, "Wow, that was great." She's gonna turn the light on and she's gonna see strong Z Ping, and she's gonna be like, "What happened to my husband?" And he's gonna look at her dead in the eyes and be like, "Look into my eyes. I'm the husband now." He's gonna bitch slap her. He's gonna walk out of the room. He's gonna go to the daughter's room, and he's gonna look at her and say, "I'm your daddy now." And she's going to walk right up to him, then look at the corpse of Colin Farrell in the hallway, then look at her new daddy again and be like, "Yeah, that guy's a chud." Then the credits roll. But wait, there's a post-credit scene where Winnie the Pooh shows up to clean up the blood splatter, and that's it.
Give it a 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Here's a better idea.
You already gave your idea, motherfucker.
What if this is actually a sequel to Total Recall? Think about it. He's been in the machine this whole time.
What if it's a sequel to The Sixth Day?
What? With Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes. What if Total Recall was a fake memory from The Sixth Day?
Well, I think Sixth Day is a poor man's Total Recall. So what you just said kind of offended me. And we'll leave it at that.
All right, broadcaster. Are you ready to get to our review of Venom, Let There Be Carnage?
Oh boy.
And we're back with our review of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And the creator of this movie-going experience describes it as the following. Eddie Brock attempts to reignite his career by interviewing serial killer Cletus Cassidy, who becomes the host of the symbiote Carnage and escapes prison after a failed execution. Short and to the point, much like this movie's plot, broadcaster.
No shit.
Oh, man, I don't hate this movie, but it depresses me a little bit because Carnage is one of my favorite. Well, first of all, he's my favorite character in the Spider-Man universe, period. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time. Like, he's up there, for me, he's up there with, like, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, Doctor Doom. And this movie kind of treats him like a side character. Like, there's no gravity, you know what I mean? Like, you'd think, and maybe it's just I give Carnage more gravity than the average Marvel fan does, but I expected a little more gravitas from Carnage. I expected the one thing I will say I liked is that they made Carnage very adversarial to Cletus, which I'm glad they did that because I was really afraid they were going to make Carnage like the symbiote Carnage, like a little punk pushover bitch. They kind of gave him his attitude, his edge, but still, it just felt like a sideshow a little bit, this movie.
Yeah, well, I think that's just Sony not being able. I don't know how they are able to handle those characters with how fractured the IP, the original IP is.
Yeah.
Not being able to use Spider-Man or other villains or other sub-characters. You have to make a whole movie about Venom, who is
a villain himself.
At best, an anti-hero after decades of storytelling.
He became an anti-hero way later.
Yeah. It's like you can't introduce him like that and expect people to existing fans to A, like him, or B, new people understand what the fuck's going on. So
yeah.
This movie's just, it's hard to be able to see any character get its real justice, but I loved the CGI. I liked.
Oh yeah, the effects were
How-
great.
I just feel like the movie was rushed. Like the whole story felt really rushed. Like getting bit, getting the symbiote inside of him the next day when he's getting the lethal injection.
I rolled my eyes at that, by the way.
Yeah,
That was really like I know what they're doing. That what they wanted to do is make it as close as to the comic book as they possibly could. So like they did all the things that they could do, but they knew because they can't throw Eddie Brock into jail randomly and make him fucking Cletus's cellmate. Like that would just be too abrupt from the end of the first Venom movie. It makes absolutely no sense. So they do this thing where he interviews him and then fucking Cletus bites him and gets the symbiote instead.
Well, the funny
Like,
thing
just,
is they kind of had the makeup to do that because the detective, was kind of like starting to think that he was murdering all those people that were disappearing and stuff like that because of Venom or whatever, and so he could have actually been thrown in jail if they tweaked the story a little bit. And
well, they could
certain
have.
things happened before others.
Yeah, so
And
like
so-
that would have
but they-
actually been a much better idea. You're right about that. But then they would have had to make the movie like 3 hours. I don't think they were willing to do that.
Yeah, it actually, in a world that's always in the norm is to have 2-hour movies now, it was actually surprising to see this was an 1.5-hour movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it
with
was,
with extra credits.
it was really short, and I don't think being short is necessarily bad. There was a lot of fat. There wasn't a lot of meat on the bones, and there was a lot of fat that could have easily been cut. Like,
The whole side story, I don't know why they shoehorned in the ex-wife and the husband.
Oh,
that
I
seemed
know, dude.
really dumb.
That was the worst part of the movie. Straight up. It
That
made
seemed really strong-armed in, she was sucking some dude's dick, and they had to make sure she was in.
to me
She's hot as hell. Sorry, don't mean to.
Michelle Williams, yeah.
I don't mean to belittle your acting ability or your servicing
Yeah.
ability.
She's aging pretty well. Yeah.
Aging. How old is she?
Oh, she's pretty old, man. She's way older than I am.
What?
Yeah, she's got to be late 40s. I think she's at least 10 years older than me. I think she's Kate Beckinsale's age. I'd say she's probably 48 or 49 or 47 maybe. I think
I
so. I
don't
think
mean
so,
to
man.
disparage Kate Beckinsale, but she looks way better for her age than Kate.
Really? Well, okay.
I think.
You know what?
Kate
We'll
has
have
tons
to
of plastic
agree.
surgery.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one. But
Anyways,
anyway, my point was that I believe that they did that because they heard about Thor: Love and Thunder, and they're like, "Wait a second, maybe we can position her to become She-Venom." And what's this? The Bride of Venom?
Gotham.
You know that's what's going
That's
on.
real,
here, man.
though. That's real.
It is real, but it's just it's so doing it right now at this time in the cultural war that is raging. It just feels a little ham-fisted. Oh yeah, we're bringing Natalie Portman to do fucking female Thor. Why don't we do fucking Bride of Chucky? Oh, I mean the Bride of Venom. How many brides are there, Broadcaster?
Oh, I just want one.
Mhm.
Her name's Scarlet.
If you're listening, his phone number is 555. Ah, man.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
I don't know, man. It wasn't a bad. It wasn't a bad movie. It's just what is it about this movie, man? Because there's certain parts of this movie I really liked and really got into, but when it was all said and done, I just had this weird kind of feeling in my stomach about this movie. This was I finally got a Carnage movie. It's all this. You know what? you know, from, you know, knowing me as well as you do, that I've been bitching about not having a Gambit movie, or just Gambit in any X-Men or any Marvel. I don't give a fuck. Like, where the fuck's Gambit? Carnage is basically number 2 on my list behind Gambit. So I was really fucking excited for this movie. And they did a great job with Carnage. Motherfucking Woody Harrelson is my dream casting for Cletus Cassidy. The fucking natural born killer himself. It's a match made in heaven. I should have loved this movie. I really want to love this movie, but I just have this fucking like weird, just like there should have been more. It could have been more. Like there's something missing. It almost feels like this movie had like 45 minutes more to it that they cut out. You know what I mean? Like I feel like one day in the future we're going to find out like, oh, they shot a 3-hour movie. They cut half of it out. Like I feel like we're going to find that out someday.
I mean, that would be unnecessary. This isn't Zack Snyder's Justice League.
No. But I did get the reshoots vibe from this movie. Did you? Like, I just felt like there's certain abrupt shifts in the movie where it's just like, this feels like a reshoot. Like there's I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm so jaded from all the reshoots. We're about to watch fucking In the Mouth of Madness 5 with fucking Doctor Strange. And that movie apparently was completely reshot. Like the entire fucking movie, according to Evil Dead. Fucking, what's his name? The guy from Evil Dead, works with Sam Raimi on everything he does. Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell did an interview where he said Doctor Strange 2 was almost entirely reshot. What the fuck? Is this just happening all the time, but it only gets leaked sometimes when people care enough to leak it? Like, really, there was no buzz for this movie. Like, no one gives a fuck about Venom. Most people think it's a joke. Like, it's not going to do well. That's not a real Marvel movie. Sony's doing it. There's no Spider-Man. There's no respect, and there never will be. So just people don't care, so no one knows that they did a bunch of reshoots. And we're only finding out about big movies because people care about big movies. So you'll get a C-tier actor like Bruce Campbell. He wants some attention, so he'll come out in an interview and be like, oh yeah, I know Sam Raimi. I work on this shit, you know. Got fucking reshot the whole fucking movie.
Oh, reshot the whole fucking movie. Yeah, it's just a miasma that covers the whole land. People are choking on it. Can't make good stuff. Unfortunately.
I think there's just a lot more like revisionism against like a creator's vision. You know what I mean? Like I feel like back in the day, people were allowed to create their thing, warts and all, whatever it ends up being. Like it's raw. Like it like think about the TV series made by our boy David Lynch called Twin Peaks. Imagine if that show was being made today, all of the notes, the quote unquote notes he would get from the fucking executives at the top of the company being like, bro, you know that talking tree? We're gonna cut that. Okay. Like, I just feel like now there's so much like control by people that think they know better, that just want to sanitize everything, because that's what it truly feels like. It feels like everything has this thick layer of hand sanitizer on it. Brought to you by Purell.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it's that, and I think a lot of the people that get hired to do the writing and the overall directing for these movies are, well, to be totally straight up, just have no business doing it. You know, they meet like some type of equity equation, you know, where they, you know, they're the right color or the right gender for the job, and it's not really about can they write a good story about this particular subject, or do they even care about the original IP if what they're doing is based on something like that. I think that's what a lot of it has to do with.
Yeah.
I think that's literally the core of the issue. And then you go into PR scandals, where people go on Twitter and they're like, just got hired to do Ghostbusters, can't wait to shit on the fans, and, blah, 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 and a gist, and then they have to, like, quietly fire them, like, 2 months down the road, and, and it's just downhill from there. It seems to happen time and time again.
Yeah.
I think the industry just suffers from that. That's really it.
Yeah.
It's a cancer.
It is.
We must remove it. We must strike it. Strike it down.
Yeah. All right. Well, what was your favorite part of the movie? I'm guessing your favorite part was the fight at the end, right?
I think all my favorite parts were the CGI fights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the prison scene was super dope.
Yeah. I liked every scene in the movie with Carnage in it. And I just about hated every scene without him in it. And I liked the first Venom movie, so it's not just me being like, I only like Carnage, because I like the first Venom movie. It's just that the scenes without Woody and without Carnage in this movie are all kind of like pedantic.
Yeah, well, Eddie Brock and Venom's relationship is dumb. I thought the one funny part for me to me with Venom and Eddie was when they were with the shopkeeper early on. And like they're like, whoa, what are we gonna have to do here or whatever? I was like, oh, that seemed kind of sexual. Just like a Brazers logo, just slap it on the screen. There's like, oh, we don't have any chocolate. What do you mean you don't have any chocolate? Well, we're gonna have to work something else out here. She's like, well, what do you mean something else? And so, look.
Yeah, there are a few good scenes, I guess. That one was good. I liked all the scenes with Miss Chen too, because then like when they're looking for Venom, most of the part where they're looking for Venom, quote unquote, is pretty boring and stupid. But the part at the very end when they find him and he's in Miss Chen, I like that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, other than what's her name's husband being there,
that guy, dude, that guy should, if you're going to do anything to this movie, fucking cut his ass big time. That guy
was
sucked.
he in the first one?
Hell no.
What was he doing in this movie?
He was just there to be Eddie Brock's sexual nemesis. That's
so much
all.
More sense if he got eaten.
Yeah.
If he got eaten like on screen, then it would have been funny. It would have been super funny that he got introduced just to get eaten.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the movie ends with Carnage being, I guess, killed. He gets eaten by Venom again. But apparently Carnage procreated, and the seed made it to fucking Woody Harrelson's woke Wakandan wife. And that's the very end. It shows, well, I mean, they don't confirm it, but they show her eyes glow, and Carnage's offspring.
They're real.
I don't.
Carnage has offspring. But it's like way later on down the road. I mean, they just introduced Carnage to kill him off.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, dude, Carnage should have been a 3-movie arc. Like, he should have not just been 1 movie.
But he could still be alive too, because the end credits scene.
Yeah, well, I just gotta say, Naomi Harris is the worst Shriek of all time. I really, really am bitter about her being Shriek. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Am I getting too old for this shit?
No, it's just a really shitty movie. I think
Yeah.
Venom 1 was better. I'm going to say it. Said it. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why you would kill Carnage that quickly and then bring Toxin in. Like, you're going to imply, like, there's no way that you can walk around that without thinking that is Carnage's offspring with the way it all played out. It's like, really? You, like, gave Carnage one movie and you went straight to Toxin for Venom 3? Like, on one hand, I like it when shit gets to the point, and I think Walking Dead is an example of shows that fail because they don't get to the point and they dwell too long. I think they dwelled way too long on Negan, and it ruined one of the greatest arcs. It could have been. I think the Negan arc in Walking Dead could have been one of the greatest arcs in television history, but because they did what they did and they stretched it into like 4 fucking seasons, it ruined it. So I do see like a benefit and just getting to the point and busting through it. But I just firmly believe Carnage deserved more than this. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Carnage has some of the coolest, like, you know, alien takeover type comics in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like a whole run where he takes over a farm town. And
yes.
There's there's he has like an infected cheetah, like all these types of zoo animals and farm animals. They're just like roaming the land. So when I think Spider-Man and Anti-Venom show up, and you know this goes into like how much of a character or a character story Eddie Brock has, you know, with Venom. Anti-Venom is like a totally different offshoot where his legs are broken and he has this armor, and Venom wraps around that armor, or it's a different symbiote. I forget what it was, but nonetheless, underneath it, Eddie Brock's crippled, and they both show up in this village. And I think Spider-Man gets his ass beat and like somehow gets disabled. I forget. Like Spider-Man can't do anything anymore, and it's all on Anti-Venom to do it, and he fails, and then like the government has like this anti-symbiote squad, you know, where it's pretty much government issued symbiotes to these people, and they go in and try to take out the evil symbiotes, and it's pretty dope. It's a dope ass comic. The art was super cool.
Yeah, it's way better than this movie.
Yeah, it's way better than this movie, and that's just one comic with Carnage.
Yeah.
You know, there's another one where he's like, he lures this FBI team into a mine. That's pretty dope. Fucking, like, there's so many cool things. The fact that like this movie happened and he's already dead, supposedly, just kind of it just illustrates such incompetence with the IP, the material they've been given, and just their overall creativity. You know, it's just like, really? Like, this was supposed to pump people up for the Venom universe, or the idea that you're building something that will slowly connect to Spider-Man's universe or whatever, and you just took out essentially one of Venom and Spider-Man's biggest enemies.
Yeah, it's retarded.
You already killed Mysterio, you know. I haven't watched Far From Home or whatever yet, so I don't know what villains show up yet, and I don't know which ones die necessarily. So, but I'm sure some do, and I'm sure, you know, other things happen. But nonetheless, it's just
I'll be so happy if
kind of dumb, and it makes me really worried for other comic movies going forward. Like, are they just going to do Doom like this too? Is Doctor Doom just going to show up and die in the same fucking movie?
Exactly, dude. Yeah, I would be afraid too, man. This is a fucking wake-up call, I think, to people. Be careful what you wish for. And I'll just say right now that I think that the woke washing of Shriek is one of the worst woke washing events I've ever beholden with these eyes. I'm telling you, this
Yeah,
was
well, that's
one
par for
of
the
the
course.
worst. Like there have been a lot of these happening lately. Some of them are worse than others. I believe this is the worst. Naomi Harris was so fucking bad as Shriek. It was like the polar opposite of Shriek visually, just the way that her mannerisms, there was nothing about her that was Shriek, and her chemistry with Carnage or with Cletus Cassidy was non-existent. It was so
Yeah,
bad.
for
Oh
sure.
my god. Like this, it's unforgivable, man. And I like Naomi Harris as an actor too. I like her in other shit. This was not it. She should not have taken this role. They should not have cast her for this role. This was a huge, huge, huge mistake.
I like how they changed his hair for this movie too. Do you remember the after credit scene in the original Venom where Cletus was in it and he had like curly red hair and
Yep.
he was abruptly had short straight hair in this movie?
I noticed that too, yeah.
Wonder what that was about.
I don't know.
This goes, I think it furthers your point you were talking about earlier, where like people are just always constricting somebody's idea nowadays in the medium. You know, they just won't let you have your story. They have to change it somehow. You know, they're like, well, he looks too much like a serial killer with the curly red hair. You know, how about we straighten it out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as an example, like with Zoe Kravitz and as Catwoman in this new Batman that I haven't seen yet, I don't know because I haven't seen the movie yet, but I expect that isn't going to be nearly as bad as what they did to Shriek. Just based on the trailer alone. So I don't think it's always bad. It's just like, you got to pick your spots and you got to do it with the right people. Okay? Like, just this was an example of the worst way to do it, the most jarring way to do it. I was watching that movie and it was so hard for me to identify her as Shriek as I was watching this movie. It's like, I'm always thinking in my head, like, who the fuck is this person again?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's funny because I don't even know really who Shriek was. Like, you kept on saying it, and then eventually she popped in my head, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's what that's supposed to be. That whole movie, I didn't realize that was Shriek. Thought she was just some made up character. I'm not the biggest fan of Cletus Cassidy. The only two runs I own, like I just spoke of, she's nowhere to be found. So
No.
I had no idea of this connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I don't mean to dwell on this too much. It just really annoyed the fuck out of me. So, what are you gonna do?
Subpar movies, you know, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot to talk about. It's a pretty fast movie, you know. Pretty much the storyline was shallow, like we've spoken about. The characters, or the actors, as I should say specifically, were, I mean, what's his name is Eddie Brock. Forget his name. Tom Hardy. He's a great actor. I don't think he did too much wrong, but that accent is terrible. And I'm also a firm believer that, you know, the actor can only do so much with, you know, what he's hired to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying his performance as Tom Hardy is what brought the movie down, but I think the character Tom Hardy they built for this movie is terrible. That accent is bad. His dialogue with Venom is bad. Venom himself and his dialogue is bad.
So bad.
The CGI is actually pretty good. It improved a lot from the first movie too, especially around the chin where they define his chin.
Yep.
It made it a lot more broad and not so sharp and weird looking, you know. So I thought that was cool. Pretty much all the CGI was my favorite part of the movie, where Venom came out and was like hopping in between. That was actually my favorite part of the movie, is when Eddie and Venom broke up for a minute, and he just was going like from stranger to stranger, like doing whatever the fuck he wanted. And that that poor lady on the bike was just like fucking having a seizure while Venom was on her back, and she's just like the the end of the scene is just her like with a tendril on her back, freaking out as she's screaming down the road, and then just ends. It's like, okay, well, I wonder what happened to that lady. And then the next scene is like this kid who has like black veins in his eyes, and he's like throwing up, and he just falls on the ground, and Venom just pops out of him, and he's just like, all right, well, that one didn't take it. And it's like, was that kid dead? He's fucking, what are you doing, dude? So that was pretty funny. I thought that was probably one of the most organically funny parts of the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's weird, but like the best parts with Venom in this movie are without Tom Hardy, without Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
It's when he's on his little rebellion streak by himself.
Yeah. Well, it's both, you know, like the end of Venom's little personal journey was pretty fucking cringe, if you ask me, when he goes to that little underground rave.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's things like these where I don't know how I feel about them, because it's like, for one, what you're talking about is just pretty cringe, but at the same time, you're kind of making fun of it. You know,
that's what I was getting out of it. I was going fourth wall on that shit when I was watching it. I actually liked that part, but I see where you're coming from when you say that.
Yeah,
though. I like it. Really, just depends on how you take it. If you take it in a super literal sense, I agree with you. Got to go meta on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I wish they would just, in those cases, though, they would lean into it more. Because if you're going to make fun of it, make fun of it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, every scene with your girl, Michelle Williams, was pretty bad. Was there a single good scene in this movie with her in it? We already established
when she was flexing on Venom and Miss Chen's body in the market. She's like, you know, you're the hottest one, right? You're the big man. He's like, nah, you know me, man.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of amusing. I'll give you that.
That was probably her moment to shine right there.
Yeah.
But
that 30 seconds, yeah, you're right. That was decent.
The end of that rave thing was pretty funny, though, when he just like gets outside and he's just leaning against the wall. He's just like, "Oh, I wish Eddie knew how good of a time I had." That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I feel like if they would have turned this into like a bro comedy, it would have been way funnier. It would have been a way better movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like there should have been more of that, but it just wasn't there.
They're like Batman, because they were kind of making fun of Batman in the movie, like him standing on the top of buildings and stuff, looking at the city. And like, I was like, man, they should have leaned into that more, because it would have been like if they were just like kind of an anti-hero Batman just going around eating bad people, you know, and having like, they had cool bro cop songs, you know, that were playing in the background and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been an excellent first 10-15 minutes of the movie. Really set it up, you know.
Yeah.
And that could have, you know, led to an organic introduction to Cletus Cassidy and Tom Hardy. You know, maybe they're doing like the bad cop, good cop, anti-hero Batman shit on the streets, and they get framed for a murder, right? They get thrown in jail, and Tom's like, don't worry, you know, we'll go into jail, we'll take it, we'll let justice play out, because we're, you know, we have faith in the system or whatever. And then they get, you know, involved with Tom Hardy, and he tells them that story he should have told them way before the end of the movie, like he did. And, you know, it just would have been a better movie.
Yeah. What do you think about the end? Where, I mean, we already talked about how it ends with Venom eating Carnage, Carnage apparently inseminating toxin into the detective, and then it'll rough cut to them on vacation immediately after. So, like, Cletus is dead, Carnage is absorbed, I guess. It just like rough cuts straight to the Bahamas or something.
Yeah.
Like,
that was fucking really abrupt. But I also liked how fucking low budget it was.
Exactly.
It was like, and cut.
This kind of reminded me of like a fucking Bruce Willis movie, like a modern Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was on par with something from that. Like, and the really weird thing about it is they introduced Spider-Man, kind of, by reporting on him on television and leading into No Way Home, which I found very weird.
I think that has something to do with the reshoots for both movies.
I
think they probably finalized some deals or maybe had some second guesses to try to go back to the table and get all these things connected better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. This movie is really tough for me. I liked it in a lot of ways, and I hated it in a few ways, and the hate sometimes overpowers, but it's just... I don't know.
I take Venom as like a Fast and the Furious movie, you know?
Well, fuck you, man.
It's for the fans.
I know that's how you take it, but that's not how I like. I don't give a fuck about Venom. I mean, I like Venom. Don't get me wrong, but like, I just
you were never gonna get like a Carnage series. You were never gonna get multiple movies.
Why
Even if
not?
Carnage lived. It's not
fucking
like you're going to see Carnage anytime
Magneto
soon
was
again.
in every fucking X-Men movie.
Magneto is way more beyond than just X-Men, though. He was in multiple video games. People know who Magneto is.
Whatever, man.
Read an X-Men comic,
man.
dude.
How dare you?
All right, Carnage is something that people only know about who read fucking Spider-Man.
This is some bullshit, man. All right,
saying.
whatever. This is probably just me. I'm probably like one of the only people that have these problems with this movie, but
yeah, you seem pretty fucking butthurt, dude. Grow up.
Fine. I'm picking up an assault rifle and I'm going to Ukraine.
That escalated. Make sure you bring $5,000 USD with you. I heard that's what the militias use. That's the minimum That's the minimum donation to the young youth, boys' youth militias over there.
So, what do you think? Is this the final Spider-Man movie with Sony? Is it just gonna converge into the Marvel fully now, or do you think Sony's gonna continue to make these Venom movies?
I think. It's hard to tell who's going to make what, but I definitely think it's the beginning of Sony's assets and Marvel's assets being in a more cohesive package. That's for sure. The fact that they went out of their way to pretty much say that Venom's universe merged with whatever Marvel's working on universe-wise at the end of Far From Home means that like they're obviously willing to play ball more at this point. Yeah. They just set up the next movie to pretty much guarantee that, so they can't backpedal now.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we saw No Way Home, I'll bet there are people listening to us right now who saw No Way Home. They're like, "You fucking idiots. All these questions have been answered already," but alas, we're waiting for the VOD, bitches.
Thought you were gonna say the Blu-ray rip.
But no, full remux, bro. Full remux, 47 gigabytes. I hope you have some space.
God.
All right, broadcaster. As you know, here in the Crack Cellar, we have an official
slime, dude.
Patented Ghostbusters rating system. On that system, broadcaster Nickels, what do you rate Venom? Let there be carnage.
Dude, I'd have to rate it a Polynesian spa.
Oh man, it's classic.
I really want to give it a Slimer, dude. I really do.
Dude, you can't slime it. It's not that bad. Come on.
I gotta slime this thing, dude.
Oh, what?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give it a Vigo. I'm gonna give it's a painting. It has some art to it. You can stare at it a little bit.
It's a little thirsty, but it's a Vigo.
Yeah. You might get lost in the painting, wondering who the fuck painted this and why. But
This is the Vigo that includes the witch guy on the broomstick at the end. Oh man,
I don't know. It's hard to really. It has a couple cool things and a lot of stupid shit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not quite. It's close, dude. It's close to getting slimed. I'm not gonna lie, dude. These guys.
Damn.
This is almost like Nickelodeon. What's that show on Nickelodeon, dude?
Double Dare.
Double Dare, dude. These guys about to get the dare, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I'm gonna give it a gozer. It's gonna be it's a
chill.
You know what? It's a Ghostbusters Afterlife gozer, not a Ghostbusters 1 gozer. It's a little long in the tooth,
So equity gozer.
Equity gozer, there we go.
Can we get subcategories? Can we get?
We just made one right there. Equity gozer. Boom.
Let's rename the ranking system just a little bit. So we got equity gozer, profit slimer,
profit slimer. I love it. I love it.
Handsome Vigo.
Handsome Vigo. Damn, you're on fire. Okay, we'll take this offline. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a gozer. I think it was good. I think a lot of my ill will towards it comes from my extreme love of Carnage. I feel like if I had no idea who Carnage was, I might have liked this movie a little more. But because of my own personal feelings, I feel like that just was more of a letdown for me than it probably was for other people. But every CG fight scene was fucking awesome. I loved
the only thing that saved this movie.
the fight at the end in the cathedral where Carnage pulls out the entire fucking angel wing arsenal. Like that, like the way they portrayed that was so fucking sick. There's some parts of this movie I fucking love. But there is a lot of trash that needed to be cleaned up. And when you say that about an hour and a half movie, that's not good. Hour and a half movies need to be high and tight. There was a lot of fat on the bone here. And I'll tell you right now, I fucking just cut Dan Lewis and fucking Anne Weighing out of the fucking movie completely, in my opinion. Get them the fuck out. Kill all their scenes. Replace it with more of Venom when he's out being a teenager, rebelling against dad.
Yeah.
Give us more of that instead. Give us a real fucking Shriek, and boom, I think you have a really fucking good movie here. But they dropped the ball. So,
what they really, just a closing out thought, because I'm not a huge Venom fan, but every time I think of Venom, I just always think of this comic book cover I remember from a long time ago where it was a Tyrannosaurus Rex was the host for Venom. And I'm thinking about this. I'm like, man, this is Venom in a big city. What if like Venom, when he was doing that teenager shit in the movie, like went to a museum and got a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton as a host or whatever? That would have been cool because it would have been super meta. Because not only would it have been like for the comic
hire
book,
this man, Sony. Hire him.
Remember Disney that Disney animation where it was dinosaurs in like the New York? It was like the big city or whatever. And like that dark carnival guy was like imprisoning him. And it was like a blood contract with like the kid and shit. It was
Holy fuck. I kind of remember that, but not, dude, I need to, what, do you remember what that was called?
No, dude, but it was right around the same time as like Page Mass. Stormy
Yeah.
always remembers these fucking.
Dude, I know
movies.
I saw what you're talking about, but it's such a really like vague memory, but I know what you're talking about. I really want to look that up.
But that's what I thought of too. I'm like, man, they own the IP to those too, because it's all, well, Disney. I guess that's Marvel. It's not necessarily Sony, but nonetheless, it's like they just had it's like the ideas like those that induce such nostalgia with viewers. You know, it's just huge missed opportunities. And I thought about that in like 5 minutes. So,
and with that, we'll close out. Are you team Ukraine or team Russia? Put it on the record right now. This isn't getting cut.
I'm true to the soul, baby. I'm no wars, baby.